grandfather moved to Queens at 60 years old into the first house. It was a row house in Forest Hills they'd ever lived in. He had a plot of land that was about maybe 5 by 6 feet. The man went out and bought about 90 gardening tools. This is the truth. And every Sunday of my youth, I would go outside my grandfather's. He tended to his land. He was so proud of that land, it was beyond belief. And it was a tiny little strip of grass. He put a raspberry bush on it, and to this day, raspberry is my favorite fruit. And he told me that he never thought in his life he would actually own anything. And he owned that house, and he owned that land. That tiny piece of grass symbolized his having made it in America. When a candidate is compelled to learn the ritual, the end result is a sense of accomplishment and pride that stays with him forever. He becomes a true master mason and values his attachment to the craft that he has worked hard to join. And I'm going to be honest with you. I would rather have 10,000 Masons who are committed Masons than 1 million Masons who had no idea about the fraternity they joined. If the ritual has no impact on that man, he can't explain Masonry to himself, let alone to anybody else. And at that point, we move away from a standard of excellence and pride, the very same qualities that will make our craft strong again. How many guys in the room are under 40? Stand up. 40. Under 40. Now, I got to sit down. You know, I tell my wife I'm 18, but she doesn't believe me. Now, I'm going to ask you guys another question. And again, I want an honest answer. Do you want to be given something cheaply about Masonry?
No.
You want to just be handed to it? No. If I said to you, I'm going to challenge you to join this craft, would you run away?
No.
You wouldn't, would you? These guys, those guys that just stood up that are under 40 years old, are the future of fraternity. They want to be challenged. They don't want the easy way. I don't know about you guys, but I know in my lodge, especially men that join that have had a grandfather or father in Masonry, they're very apprehensive about the third degree. And you know, probably because their grandfather or their father told them that, you know, there might be some stuff going on in the third degree. I actually had a brother come up to me and said, I knew his father, and a young guy, and he said, my father wants you to give me the full ride, he said. I said, okay, and we did. If a lodge cares little about ritual, it shows the new candidate that mediocrity is okay, poor workmanship is accepted, and that his membership is not very meaningful. Without standards, he begins to drift from the craft. With all due respect, I really do believe that doing the ritual on opening and closing does constitute a portion of electorate that is demanded of us. It is crystal clear to me that our most neglected piece of ritual is the opening and closing rituals. It can be a beautiful piece of ritual when done right. How many times have you ever seen you know, there are beautiful words. Bob Russell, where are you? Oh, here. Okay, Marine, give me the opening work of the junior warden to observe.
To observe the sun of meridian, which is the glory and beauty of the day. To call the craft from labor to refreshment. Superintend them during the hours thereof. Carefully to observe that the means of refreshment are not perverted to intemperance or excess. See that they return to their labor in due season, that the worshipful master may receive honor, and they pleasure and profit thereby.
Excellent piece of work.
Thank you.
You know what also made it excellent? You understood everything he said. But I want to take it to the next level. To observe the sun at meridian, which is the glory and beauty of the day. Sound a little different that way? Sounds like you might do the middle chamber lecture or any other piece of ritual. Why don't we do that in opening? The opening for me is extremely important. I come from an office where I'm hearing some very tough psychiatric problems all day. When I listen to a good opening, it brings me into my mindset to be Mason. When I don't hear a good opening, I can see myself and a lot of other people squirming in their chairs. You know, when I wrote the original draft to the Road to the East, all I did was take the opening and closing ritual and started checking things off. And that became the actual outline for the first road to the east every row. It takes us away from our day-to-day concerns, transports us to a higher level of thought. We also must stop being in denial, my brothers. We must stop giving false reads when we assess a brother's ritual work. We diminish and cheapen our craft when we tell someone he has done a good job when we know good and well that he has not. Our ritual enjoins us to whisper wise counsel in the ear of an erring brother and always to admonish with friendship. Good try, as far as I'm concerned, is far better than good job when the guy has not done a good job. I've been a football coach 27 years. It's amazing to me how a kid can miss a block and I'll hear someone from the sideline say, good job. What was good job about it? He missed the guy he was supposed to block. Good try. Here's how you do it right the next time. That's what I want. I'm asking you guys, I don't never want you to embarrass a brother about his ritual work, but please do not go up and shake a guy's hand and say, good job, when you know it was not a good job. Shake his hand and say, good try. Shake his hand and say, hey, I'll work with you on that. It'll get better. Challenge him to be better, because the craft of Freemasonry challenged all of us to be better. That's what it's all about. You know, the whole thing about self-esteem. Well, if you criticize somebody, they won't feel good about themselves. To be honest with you, I think this is a huge downfall in America right now. You know, everybody's wonderful. Well, I'm sorry, not everybody's wonderful. And if you're not wonderful at what you're doing, if you have someone who's willing to help you get better, you'll try to get better. But go back to that same guy who you told good job to. And when he does the next piece of ritual work, it's just as bad as the first. Have someone come up to him and say, hey, look, you know, we need to work on this. He's going to say, why? Why? Stu McLeod said I did a good job. Why should I work on this? Stop lying to the guys, honestly. Stop being in denial. Tell them the truth, because being truthful is what a Mason is all about. It should be clear to any brother that the common language that binds all Masons together is the ritual. The more we study it, the more we unlock its secrets, the more into the halls of our collective spiritual homes, and the more we share together in the history and tradition of the ritual and Freemasonry, the more it ties us to those who will join the craft in the years to come and who came before us. Teaching of our fraternity, my brothers, is not only beautiful, but, and you know, a lot of you guys that are my age remember the old song, beauty's only skin deep, yeah, yeah, yeah. A rose, you know, we have one of my heroes in Freemasonry sitting right here who was a florist. How long does a rose stay alive? Not long. Okay. So, the beauty of the ritual is what? It's not just the beautiful words, but its power to change a man, have the impact on the world around him. Those powerful teachings are locked into the ritual, and in my view, you're not really a Mason until you learn it and practice its teaching in its daily life.